Yeah, I was actually not saying anything, Princess. So I'm about to start now. Okay, all right, everyone. Good morning, afternoon, evening, depending on where you are joining from. I hope we all we're having a good day. So this is our third session for the week, and it's going to be our last class for the week. And then on Saturday, we'll be having our first mini project. So the event link has also been posted on the Discord. You'll find it in events. So let me just use the first 5 minutes as usual to take questions if there's any question that we have. But before I do that, I need to inform us that on Saturday, we'll be meeting by 9 a.m. Central European time. So please do the conversion. So the meeting will hold for about maybe 30 minutes where I'm going to show you what you need to do. And after that, I'm going to end the meeting. And then you have 2 hours to complete the project. So everything, the details, the questions, they will all be sent to you. You have them, the data, you would need to work on the questions you need to answer, you have everything. So you have 2 hours from the time we end the meeting on that Saturday to complete. And then a link will be shared where you can send in your submission. So once that 2 hours elapsed, we shut down the link. So please ensure you finish that assignment within that 2 hours. And I'm sure that they are all going to cover everything that we've done this week. So it's just for you to help us master everything that we have learned. So if you find any concept that we've talked about so far difficult, kindly use tomorrow and Friday to check it out. You can always ask questions, as you know, on Discord. You'll get your responses. So I hope that is clear, just to inform us ahead. All right, so let me take questions, maybe 2. Do we have any questions from what we did yesterday and maybe on Monday as well? Anyone with a question? There's something you would like to confirm?
Hello, Idris.
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Please, my question is about the usage of the formulae. So for instance, we treated concatenate yesterday. So in the assignment, if someone goes to use test join, will such a person be penalized?
I didn't get that. Please come again.
Okay, so for instance, we join values from 2 different cells with concatenate.
Yeah.
So I'm asking that in the event you send out an assignment and someone uses test join instead of concatenate, like the results will be the same, but different formulae, will such a person be penalized? Thank you.
What join did you say the person used? Test join?
Yeah, test join.
Text join?
Yeah.
Is there a function like that? Honestly, I don't know.
Yeah, there is.
Oh, yeah, that's good. So far you get your answer. I mean, it's not really a problem. So far you get your answer. I don't know such function exists. I'm hearing it for the first time. So I'm glad that you know that such function exists. So it's about just understanding the concept, what you need to do. I don't know if I mentioned it, but there are always several ways to achieve the same result. Okay, so everything that we are teaching is not really like that's the only way you can do them. There are other ways that you can do them. However, as you really work on big projects, you would want to consider optimization. So it means that sometimes there are some methods that you use that are going to slow down your work. So it means that the calculations is going to be heavy on your processor, and then it's going to affect the performance. So when you get to that level, now you begin to look for the best function. There will be different things that, don't let me say function, the best approach. So there will be different approaches to solving a particular problem, but then you want to look for that one that is, they call it optimization. So but you cannot start doing that at this stage. You just need to understand the basics first, know everything that you need to know. Then as you advance, you start to consider those things. So if text join, or what you call it, works with the way concatenation works, then you are good, no problem. Okay.
Sure. Thanks for that.
Okay, all right, you're welcome. Any other question?
Yeah, hello. I want to ask a question.
Please go ahead. Please, yeah, please go again.
Okay. Based on the procrastinate, now,
Let's
yesterday,
turn off.
I sent a message to you online on the Discord when I was trying to ask about, when I was trying to procrastinate, I tried to get information, data about those, you said you use doctor,
Yeah.
like yesterday. Now, but I tried to change it to use like Mr.
Okay. I remember your question.
Yeah.
Okay.
How will I know that this information is, as in the abbreviation that they are doctors? How will I know?
Oh, it was just a formulation. It's not like
Okay.
really, I was just the one who assumed. I could
All
have
right.
used Mr. and Mrs., but there was no way I would have known which one is Mr. and Mrs. So that's why I used a doctor. That's why I used doctor, something that will be uniform throughout.
All right. And also, please, this is a second question. And I want to know, are we going to have a kind of orientation based on like career of this profession?
Yeah, I think I mentioned that during the pre-boot camp, and I mentioned that also, I think maybe yesterday or Monday, that sometime we would invite some people to come and talk to us, those who started their career from scratch, or advice and all that. So we definitely have no problem about that. You can be rest assured. We should have 2 or 3 sessions. All right, thank you. So please, everyone, let's stay muted so that we can start the class. Thank you. All right. So we'll take other questions later as we proceed. So welcome, guys, to the 3rd day of our training. And so far, we've seen overview of Microsoft Excel. We did that first day. We see how we could enter cell values and data. We saw formulas. We saw references a bit Monday, and then we completed yesterday with relative, absolute, and then the mixed referencing. And then we started with functions. So we are still on functions. We started with some text, and then we are still on them. So we'll continue from there today. So based on my projection, I think we should be able to complete all the functions that we have that we'll be talking about. I told you functions are a lot, but we have picked some that you would need day to day, a lot of time. So the projection is that we'll complete that today so that from next week, we can start looking at charts and the likes. Okay. All right. So this is where we stopped. We looked at this function so far, sum, average, min, max. So please, you can check the previous videos and then you'll find details. So yesterday we looked at some text functions like substitute. We looked at concatenate. We did left, right, and then we stopped at if. So I will just go over to my workbook. So please check Discord in the resources tab. I already shared the workbook for day 3, so you will find it there. But today I would first, according to what I have on my agenda here, I want us to start with this mixed reference assignment. I know I told you to try this, and I'm really impressed that a lot of people actually tried this. And honestly, trust me, I'm really impressed. Thank you guys for trying it out. Although for some, I'm unable to confirm if they are right or not, because I didn't see the formula that populated this. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do it, and then please cross-check with the formula that you used and make sure that it's correct. Okay, so please ensure to do that. So I'm just going to do it very quickly and then check if it's the same as the formula that you have. If it's the same, good. If not, try to revise what might have been wrong. And to be honest, I don't think here we should have different answer. I think it should be the same. So if you did something different and you got it, I'm really curious as to what formula you use. So please share on your Discord. Just share the formula for the first one. The 2020 and 10. Just share that formula on Discord if it's different from the one I will do now, and then tell me that you got it, then I will check. So maybe there's a way that, but I think for this particular problem, it should be the same solution for all. So let me solve this based on what we've done so far. So we are trying to get 10 for 2020. So based on what we've done so far, we want to do this multiplied by this, right? Is that not? Yeah. So I want to do this multiplied by this. I hope I'm right down. So, but if this is the formula that you use, then it's wrong because you would not get it. So, because when you drag down, you are going to get errors, as you know. So let me just do it straight up. So I think we need to lock this one. Okay, let me start here. So I think we need to lock this one here. So C need to be locked here. So, but you need it to really like, I'm even confused right now. Okay, you need this seed to be locked. Okay, let me just do it one step at a time. Okay, so this one, what am I doing? I'm confused, sorry. Okay. C3, and then this, if you drag it there, this already moved. So we need to also like lock this one as well for 15%. So this one also needs to be locked. So when I drag it, they are all locked permanently. So what I want is, I want this to be able to move to D to E as we go this direction. So it means that I have to remove this dollar from here, and then we can have this. Okay. So now it works. Now it works. Now it works. Then when we drag down like this, we have an error. So this is actually still like fixed, and I want this to move downward. So it means that this guy, I want this guy to move downward. So it means that this G needs to be free on this side. So I'm going to free this guy here. So then we can drag down, and then we still have it fixed at this guy. Wait. What's wrong here? Let me see your comment.
You don't have to reference the C3. That's the thing. You only need to reference the tax rate column. So yeah, that's it.
This one, right?
No, I think
C3 should not be referenced because the figures underneath, that's for the figures for Ken, Kate, Kelly, and Jane are different. So if you reference C3 and then you reference the G3, it would have similar answers like that's it.
Okay. So I don't need to fix this one at all.
Yeah, you don't need to fix the first cell. It's only the second cell you fix.
I think it works now. So this is the formula. Yeah. Thank you. Oh, yeah. So thank you. So when you click,
adjust your video.
yeah. So when you click on I3, this is your formula. So if you don't have this formula for your answer, then something is wrong. Okay. So I don't think any other formula should give you the answer apart from this one. So please check your solutions. If it's different from this, then you probably need to revise it. If it's the same, then you are good. All right. So that was a very interesting one. Big thanks there. Okay, so we go to the next thing is I wanted to touch on. I'm still on day 2. I just want to do some quick revision so that we can get started. So yesterday I mentioned something here in the mid this side. Yeah. So I just want to revise it again because I think we'll be touching briefly on it again today. So yesterday you remember that when we wanted to get this value in the middle, we actually did mid function. I believe many of us understand this already. And then I said that, what if we need to remove this guy? So many of us said we would use the substitute function, which is correct. So if we use the substitute function, so what we did first, let me delete this again so that we can, I'm just trying to revise it. So when we use the substitute function here, for this guy, and then the old text is, we want to take away this guy, and then we want to replace it with nothing, right? So we have this, so which is exactly what we did. But I said, instead of having to do this like separately, we can actually like have them together in one place. So called like nested functions, or yeah, nested. So it means that this C2 here, which is this guy, is actually a formula that is populating it, right? So it means that I can replace this C2 here with the formula that populates it here. So it means that the way it works is when you have nested stuffs, it's like onion. So it's going to start from the innermost one. Okay, so it's going to start from the one inside till it gets out. So if I bring this function here, which is this guy now, if I copy it and I replace it with this C2 because it's that function that actually that function that's populating this C2. So if I take away C2 and I bring in that function, so what Excel is going to do is it's going to first solve this one because it's the one in the middle. So once it solves this one, you already know what this one will give us, right? It's going to give us this value that we have here. So then it will now apply the substitute function on it. Okay, so that's how it works nested. So when you see several functions inside of one another, the innermost one is done first and then it goes outside. I hope this is clear because we'll be doing something similar to this today. So that's why I'm making this reminder. So when we click enter, we see that we're
Can you adjust the camera?
Huh?
Can you adjust the camera up?
My own camera?
Yeah, your video. Better.
I don't even know where it is, to be honest.
Okay, it's fine.
Okay, what about now? Is it okay?
Like it's blocking something you're doing. That's right.
Is it okay now?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, sorry. Okay, so once you apply that now, you can see that we got the same result, but everything is in one place. So you don't have to like do mid first and then do substitute. You get the idea? So that's the idea of having them next. Okay. All right, so that's all from yesterday that I wanted us to revise on, because I know maybe some of us did not get this very well yesterday. So today we'll be moving to workbook 3. So please, let's just go over to workbook 3. You have it with you already, so you can just open it. So workbook 3, we'll be starting with a refresher. Impressive that when I posted this, someone actually did this, and I was really impressed by that. I mean, he sent it that he already did this refresher. So I'm glad that he understood what we're trying to do. So it's just what we did yesterday, basically. So this license key, you could take it as product keys or whatever you want to say. So we have 3 segments or 3 parts of it. So the first part is the category. So that's why I said C. And then you have a dash, and then you have a region, which is like the one in the middle. And then you have like company code, which is the one that comes after. So that was why I did this so you can understand. So what we want to do now is we want to extract the category, we want to extract the region, and we want to extract the company code. So for the first time in our sessions, I'm going to be asking questions. I want someone to answer. So if you are confident about it, what function will I use to get category option? Just raise up your hand. You don't need to unmute. I will just call someone. Just raise up your hand. What function can I use to get my category? Anybody? Okay, so let's take Razak. Yeah.
The left function.
Left function. Okay, so I believe that we all did that yesterday. So stay unmuted. So tell me what I'm going to do here next.
Okay, now you're going to put in the text, the whole text.
So what is the text?
The text itself.
What is it? Can you reference? Can you call it?
Okay, A2.
Please let only him talk. Just one person, please. A2. So number of characters is what?
Number of character is 5.
5. Okay. So because we want 5, that's good. So and then I can just double click this and this is done. Thank you for that. So we want to try for region. Who wants to try? Okay.
Yeah. Let me try.
Okay. Yeah. Please go ahead.
Okay. The region mid.
Okay.
Okay. A2.
A2.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
7. We are starting from 7.
Yeah. And I think that's all. Yeah. Enter.
That's all. We have 3 arguments.
No, you press 5. You press 5 again.
Huh?
Number chart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 17.
I should put 17.
No, it should be 5.
No, I'm lost. Hold on.
Please, let's not make this rowdy. Just one person is talking, please.
Okay, mid A2, comma. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, comma.
7.
And
Number, that's the number of characters that you want.
Number of characters should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5. Good. Thank you. So when we drop this down, we have the answer. So we got everything.
Did I get it right?
Yeah. That's right. You are not even confident. I should have tried to.
No, I'm confident. I'm because I can't see the screen.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys can see my screen?
I'm okay now. I'm getting it.
Okay. All right. So the last one.
Okay. Can I answer the last one?
Yeah, Mr. Israel. Yeah, let's have you.
Okay. Right is equals to right. A2.
A2.
And 5.
5. All right. Good. Thank you. I'm glad that you all got it. I believe those who raised their hand also would have gotten it, and those who even didn't raise their hand, I'm sure you all know this. So this is exactly what we did yesterday. So we just used the left, mid, right function. I believe everyone knows that. So someone asked the question yesterday, which made me add some, because if you check my presentation, I didn't plan to add them, but I feel like it just shows how she was thinking. I don't really want that curiosity to like really go. So I added some things to my presentation. So here, there's a pattern. We know that there are 5 letters before the dash. We know that there are 5 after, and then we know that there are 5 after. So it's a bit consistent. So everyone knew what needs to be done. But the question she asked yesterday, it was on, she asked that, you remember the question, right? So after extension, so this is what she was asking about yesterday when we were doing this. So she asked that after extension, what if we have like 1,200? Will it still be able to capture when we use the right function? Okay. So, and I said, no, it will not, because now we have 4 characters. So that's what we are going to try to answer now. So if you look at this one, this is a different data now in another sheet, similar to what we just finished. But here you would see that it's not consistent, right? Like the one we did, because here we have 3 characters before the dash. Here we have 4 characters before the dash. Here we have 4. Here we have 5. Do you get the idea now? So it's different. Can we still use the left function and the right function the way we did it? Let's check and see. So company code is the first one. So the one before this, and then after it is like distributor code. So let's start with the company code. So going by the logic of what we just finished now, if I use my left function for this guy, and then I say I want, because based on this now, 3 characters, right? And I say 3, I'm going to get the answer. But when I draw it down, then there comes the problem, because a guy like this now is not correct, because something is still missing. Here also, something is still missing. Here also, something is still missing. Do you get the idea now? So what do we do? That's, what we want to answer. So just like when we were doing referencing, sometimes when you do relative, you do absolute. What if none of these things work? You can find a way to mix them. You can mix things together. So that's what we're going to be doing now. So we'll be mixing some things together. We'll be thinking together, right? This is a practical class. We'll be thinking together. It might waste a lot of time, but I want us to understand it very well, because some questions in the weekend will be on this. So please understand this concept very, very well. So let me take it back by one step. So now look at this. This is what will give me the answer here. If I want to do this by myself here, what I'm going to say is left of this, 4. Do you agree? I'll get the correct answer, right? If I come here, I will do left of this, 4 again, right? If I come here, okay, I think this one also is 4, so let me just drag it down. But if I come here, I would have to do left of this, 5. So we can see the differences. To get the result we want, there is no constant number of characters. It is dynamic, it is changing. So what do we do? How do we solve for that? So that's what we want to do now. Now that will take us to, let me insert a new column here, although I will delete it, but for now. So that will take us to a function that I'm going to introduce to you now, a new function. But before I show you, let me ask you a question. How do you actually come up with this company code? Let's think logically. You look at this now, and you look for this guy, this dash, right? Is that not what you do? You look for it, and then you literally say, I want everything that is coming before this guy. So it means that this guy is our reference to know the company code. Is that not it? Okay. So let's start looking for this guy, because that's what we do as human. That's what you do. So let's look for this guy using a function. So I'm going to introduce us to a search function. So search. Okay. So if you check the meaning, it says, why is it not showing? Okay. It says it returns the number of the character at which a specific character or text string is first found. So this is what it does. When you are searching for something, it looks for that place. Once it finds that thing, it's going to return the position that thing is occupying. Are you following? So it means that if I have CAT, cat, and I'm looking for A, and I search for A, it's going to return what? 2, because A is occupying position 2, right? CAT. So let's see how it works here. So search, find text. So this is what I'm finding. Okay, this is what I'm looking for. Find text. So I'm looking for this guy. By now, you already know I'm using double quote, right? Because it's a string. Now, within text, where am I looking for it? I'm looking for it here. Okay. Now, this is optional. I think I mentioned it yesterday. Anytime you have square brackets in your argument, it means it's optional. You can either put it or not. For now, we don't need it. So let me just keep it so as not to confuse it further, but we don't need it. So I would not put anything for now. So I click on enter. So once I do that, you can see that he got it that this dash is actually located in position what? Position 4. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. Are you getting it? So if I drag this formula down now, you will see that it will actually get all the positions of these guys. Are you following, class? It's getting, you can see that the position is not the same. Now, let's think further again. How can we make use of this guy now? Because as human, we actually made use of this guy to know that our company code is coming before this guy. So it means that after we found this guy, we will look for everything that comes before it. Okay? So now let me ask you, if something is occupying the 4th position and you need everything that comes before it, how many things come before it? Can anybody try to answer that?
3 things.
3 things, right? So if something is occupying position 4 and you need everything before it, it means that you need 3 things. And how do you come about 3 things? 4 minus 1, right? Which is because this is position 4. I don't want you, so I want everything before you. So 4 minus 1 will give us the number of positions that we have. So that's the same logic that we are going to be applying here. So it means that now that we've already found the position of this guy, we can actually tell Excel that we need 4 minus 1 characters. And it's going to work for this guy. So if we check this formula that we used here, what was our number of characters? 3. 4 minus 1, 3, right? So it means that when I come here, it has to be the same. Since this is found at position 5, plus how many characters will be before the dash?
4.
4. When you check the formula, what did you use? 4. Are you getting the logic now? So let's check one more. This is 6. How many characters will be before the dash? 5. If we check the formula indeed, what did we use? 5. So it means that we already found the solution. So we have to look for a way to dynamically generate this value here. It will not be the same throughout. So we have to look for a way to dynamically generate it. So what we have to do is just say, since this will always be true, we can copy this formula now. Okay. This will always give us 4, right? Bring it here. Remove this 3 now. Paste that formula. This formula will give us 4. But what we want is 4 minus 1. Any value that it returns for that search minus 1. So once I do that, what Excel will do now is it will first compute this one. Going back to what I explained moments ago, the one inside will be done first. So this will give us 4 for this particular A2. So 4 minus 1, it will be 3. So it's going to do left A2, 3. Now, when I drag it down to the second one, you will see that we got the same thing. Because now, when it does the search for this, it's not going to return 4 again. It's going to return what? 5. So 5 minus 1 will give us the 4 that is needed in our formula. So let me just do it down to the end. and you will see that everything will come out the way we expect. So it's just logic. It's just thinking and trying to bring, that's why I told you, practice, practice, practice. Everything that we are teaching are basics, but when you need to build, you need to bring those little stones together to build. So this is where we really need to open our mind. So it's not like every time you just see something, you just use left all the time. You use right all the time. No, you have to think how you can bring the pieces together to do something. So this is just one. This is a very popular transformation method actually in analytics when you are working with it. You will see from the midweek project, there's a question that I reserved just for you to understand this very well. But I hope it is clear. So this is how we can solve this by making use of not only left function now, we are making use of the search function as well, just to solve this problem. I hope it is clear. I hope it is clear. So I'm going to delete this.
Sorry, could you go back
I have
to
a question,
the
please.
formula where you put the search into the company code, please?
Okay.
By
Okay, have you seen it?
yeah, I did, and I put the same thing, and I got it's giving me value, like
It's giving you a value error.
yeah.
Are you sure you are searching for dash?
One second. Okay, I see why I have an error.
Okay. All right.
All right, thank you.
Please, I have a question.
Yes, please go ahead.
As regards splitting the columns, for instance, can you use a function such that you would have equals to left, then your bracket say A to find instead of using search?
Okay.
Or can I type it? Can I type it in the comment section?
You are asking if you can use find function, right?
Yes.
Yes. So find and search function, they are actually similar. The difference is just that, as you can see here, find is case sensitive.
Okay.
Okay. So it means that, more often than not, I use search if I want to be very flexible. But there are some times you want to be case sensitive. It means that your CAT, this is what case sensitive means. CAT and CAT are different. So if you use find will only recognize one of them.
Okay.
So if you use search, it will see both of them because it's not case sensitive. That's just the difference between them. So if you use find here, of course, there's no, everything is in capital letter, so you get the answer. Please let's mute ourselves. Let's mute ourselves, please. Thank you. Okay, someone is asking that question. Can you redo the company colon? I got kicked out by network. No. That's not a good reason to if everybody's getting, just don't worry, you will catch it. You can just check the session in this part of the session. Okay, please. I hope we have a lot to cover today. Please. Thank you. All right. It's a very simple concept. Don't worry, you will get it. So let's go to the next one. So distribution code. So I'm going to delete this one. Created just all right. So distribution code. Now the distribution code is this one, right? The one after. Now, going by what we initially did, if we want to do right, I know some of us are already thinking maybe right function. If we do right of this, for this one now, the number of characters we will need will be 5. The number of characters we will need here are 5, right? So if I do 8 to 5, I'll actually get what I want. But when the problem starts, when I bring it down, so you can see it's really messed up because here, for instance, there are just 4 characters after. Here, they are like 4, after. Here, we even have like a lot, and it didn't. We have about 6 here, and it didn't catch all of them. So again, there's a need to we can't use only right function here, basically. So we need to use that same method, similar method, but this is a bit different. So please watch and try to understand. If you don't understand, you would watch again, you would practice it, and you will master it, I can assure you. So let's see what we can do to solve this issue. So again, the same thing. How do we think? We look for that dash, right? So we always look for that dash. That's our first thing that we do. So let me just keep this formula for dash here, searching for dash. So let me say search, we are looking for dash. Where are we looking for it? We are looking for it within this text. So we know that dash here is always at position 4, right? Now, what we want is, we want the values after this dash, not before. So you cannot use left function for sure, because left will always come from before. So the only option here that you know that we can use is right. So it means that we are coming from this side. However, we want to stop wherever we find this dash. Are you getting the point? So what do we do? So it means that we have to look for a way to count how many characters are after the dash. Okay, might sound, I mean, that's what we do, right? So we look for all the characters after the dash. Well, I was looking for the best way to explain this in the class. So what I came up with, I'll just try to explain to you. So let me open my whiteboard here. Let me take us back to a very simple concept. I know some of you might not like what you're about to hear because you probably hated them in school. But let's assume you have a line like this. I hope you can still see my screen, my whiteboard. You can see it, right?
Yes,
Yes, we can.
So let's assume you have a
we
line like this. And then from here to this place is X. Someone is already hating me now. They don't like to hear this XY thing. Why am I doing this XY? I thought I left this thing in secondary school. Don't worry. I'm not complicating this. I just want to try to make you understand. So let's assume from here to here is X. And from here to here is Y. And everything, the total length is L. You agree with me that X plus Y equals to L, right? So if you had this and this together, then you get the total length, right? So if I find a way to know my X and I know my L, I can find my Y to be equals to L minus X, right? Do you agree with me? So it means that if I know the number of characters that are here, I automatically know the number of characters that are here if I can know the total characters that we have. Do you get the idea? So if I can know the total characters we have, that's number one. And then I know the total characters that we have from here to here, then I automatically know the characters here by just subtracting them. That's just the logic that we are going to use here in solving this. So what that means is, based on what I just explained, let's first find the total characters that we have in this text here. So that will allow me to introduce you to another function that is also popular that you need to know. It's called len. So it returns the number of characters in a text string. So the total length, maybe you can call it len, I don't know, but len. So the total characters that you have in a string is going to return it. So len of this is going to give us 9. So we know that we have 9 characters here. You can confirm. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that's 9 characters. So if you drag this down, you can see that it varies across board. And then when I do this search also, this is for search. So let me write something here. So this is search, this is len, so that we can know what is going on. And let me just give them colors so that we know that they are different. Okay. All right. So let's apply that same logic that we talked about here, because it's difficult for us to start counting from here and stop here. But based on what we did with what we've done so far, we can count from here to here, and then we can know the total length, and then we can just subtract to know the characters that are after that dash. So what it means now, look at this, look at my formula. When I wanted to populate this, what was my number of characters, class? What was my number of characters?
5.
How did I get 5? Let me go back again.
9.
From here to here was 4, right? Because this is where we
Yes.
have our delimiter, this guy. So from here to here was 5. So it means that to get from here to here, I can say the total length minus the position of this guy. Is it clear? Is it clear?
Clear.
Understand?
No, it's not. It's like I went from
No,
understanding.
it's not clear. Please come again.
Okay. All right, I will come again. Don't
Sorry,
worry.
it's not clear. Can we start all over, please?
I know. Don't worry. That's why I started this thing at the beginning of the class. Okay, so this is the idea. If you look at this guy now, we can see that the position of this guy, this dash, is actually number 4, right? Now, the total length of this is what? Is 9, as you can see.
9.
So if this, okay, let me give you another example. If that XY is not clear, the people that don't understand, please listen to this example. You have an 100-meter track, right? And you have 2 people that want to run 100-meter track. So the first person ran till 60 meters, and then they passed the baton. And then the other person, what will be the length that other person will run? Those that didn't understand,
40.
that
40.
No,
40.
I'm hearing the voices of male. It's female that said they didn't understand. So let them answer.
40.
40, right?
40.
How did you get 40?
Because the first person has already run 60. And we are going to 100.
Good. So that's the same thing here. So that first person that ran 60, the person ran from here to here. So you want to know from here to here. So the total length, which is in the example I gave, which is 100, minus where the person ran to here, which is 60. So the same thing is being done. So you look at the total length, which is 9, and then you look at how far have we covered to this point, because this is our reference point. This is our delimiter. So we've covered 4 characters, and the total characters are 9. It means that the remaining characters are 9 minus 4, which is 5. So that's why we have 5 in our formula by default, even initially. If you check this one now, if I want to do this one manually by myself, I would do right this minus what? What will it be? 4, right? So if you look at this, 9 minus 5, it's 4. So that's the logic. So it means that in order to dynamically get the value here, all I need to do is substitute this formula minus this formula and put it here, and then we'll get the answer. So let's try it. So the formula for length is length of this, right? Minus, okay, the formula that populated this search. So let me write it again. Search, what are we looking for? We are looking for dash, right? Where are we looking for dash? We are looking for it here. That's all. So because I missed a bracket, so it's saying that you have a typo in your formula that I'm missing a bracket. Do I want to close it? So I will say, yes, I accept. So once I click on yes, you see that I have the same answer. And then when I drag this down and to the end, it will automatically sort out. So even if they are 5, even if they are 6, it will figure them out because we have already dynamically calculated them. It's not rigid. Like you did not just say 4. You did not just say 5. Now it will be calculate the length, calculate where that dash is, subtract them, and then use that value. So it means that even here now, if I decide, okay, this one, if I decide to put y, it's going to catch everything. Because now the length has increased, it's going to subtract it and it will return everything. Anyways, watch it again. If you don't understand it, I believe when you watch it, practice it, you will master it. Again, the point here is not for you to like really fix your mind on this. I'm just showing you that this is how you solve problems with different, all of these things that we've been learning. This looks simple. Like, I'm not saying what you'll be doing later will be difficult, but everything are basics to what you'll be doing later. Nothing will change. In fact, when you see people do really big analytics project, there's nothing special. These are the things they use. Some ifs, everything that we'll be doing are what you use. So it's about you bringing them together and then using them to solve the problem you want to solve. Okay, so this is one real case to solve this. So please, if you don't understand still, just watch it again and then you will master it. Okay, I've explained 2 times. I wouldn't want to explain again, sorry. Please just check the video, please. Because we have, I want us to finish these functions today, please. So let's move on. If you don't understand it, don't bother, watch it again. It doesn't have anything to do with what we are still going to do later today. So this is just one part. I just needed to show you because of the person that asked that question yesterday. I thought it was right to really show you guys the complexity that comes when you are able to bring all of these things together. All right, so at this point, I know that's a lot already. Let's take 5 minutes break. We're back 5 minutes so we can continue from other things that we have for today. So 5 minutes, I can take questions for those who don't want to take the break. But for others, we can take our 5 minutes break.
Okay. Hello.
Yeah,
Hello.
so yeah, please go ahead.
My hand has been raised. Okay, before you went on break, but I needed you to be on the Excel sheet. Anyway, I just want to ask. I'm supposed to be making reference to the refresher sheet where you have that license key.
Okay.
Yes. There is a question I want to ask, but I needed you to be looking at it. This is an issue of having double dash.
Double dash.
On a license key, number one. And then the mid, which is like the region, just like the example you use, is not actually, what's it called? It's not actually alphabet or numeric, as in same or true, but this time the region comes in like west and north.
Okay. So are you trying to formulate, you are formulating the problem, right?
No, I've seen a key like that before. So I just want to, that's why I said I would have been looking at the sheet. So where you copy and you just change the mid for figure to north and west, then I want to now ask, will the search function work in extracting something in that kind of scenario?
Yeah. So
because west is 4 figure, north will be 5.
Yeah.
5 letter, west will be 4. So I just needed to.
Yeah.
Yes.
You are right. So in that case, again, it's still because you cannot like really stick to like 4, 5. Like
yeah. And then what I'm trying to ask is that from the beginning there was a dash. Then after the region, there is another dash before the last code.
Yeah.
So how do I now use the search dash to look for which of the dash? That's just what I was trying to ask.
So I get you. Thank you. So if you check the mid formula, you will actually see that there's an option there. Do you remember that I said there's an optional this guy number of characters that I did not use? So that's
the
where
one with the square bracket,
yeah, that's where it gets complex actually. So when you have more than one dash, so you try to tell Excel that this is the dash I'm talking about. I want you to check the second dash, not the first one. But I mean, trust me, I don't want to do that here because people need to understand even this.
Yes. I appreciate
that's how it works. So you you just know how to use that.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Yeah.
Well done. I wanted to ask, with this formula, is there not a way we can formulate the formula in order to, instead of making it buggers like this, instead of using the left A2 search, the formula there, then A2, I think there should be a way we can manipulate around it.
To be honest, if you can find a way, I'll be glad. We will all be glad, right, class? But trust me, for this problems,
there's something like that.
You can actually use the text split function to divide that particular column when you specify the delimiter into like 2. So you would have GGW on one side, you have 4x, 6xk on another column, and then you can I like to make both cells like both cells in the newly created columns, and then you do the flash fill, just drag it down and it would automatically fill in everything. So like that actually works. But yeah, so it's something you could actually do, the text split function.
Sorry, can you share that formula in the chat box? At least all of us can work
formula.
Okay, so I'm going to just type it as I have it here.
Thank you very much.
All right.
I have a question. Is everybody from a tech background? Because I'm coming from a medical background and I'm so lost. Like, it's taking me a minute to try to grasp everything that you're teaching on here.
No, not everybody. I'm also from a basic medical background, though I have some knowledge of this, so it's not so alien to me.
Not everyone. We're all learning. In fact, we're all beginners here.
All right.
Yes.
Who was that? Who was that? Sorry.
It's
Who-
the other princess.
Princess. Okay, so what channel are you on?
I don't
What's your
understand.
what group are you on Discord? Is it love? Is it joy? Is it peace? Is it faith?
Favor.
Favor. Okay. So use that. I suggest, or please use that chat a lot. If you are totally new to these things, it's normal to feel that way. Okay, I can assure you. So again, practice. You just need to watch it again. You would understand it. If it's the first time you are like really seeing these things, like totally first time, you might really find it. So please just find time again to check it out. And I can guarantee that if you do and you try to practice along, you would see that it's actually very simple. They are not really difficult stuff. It just takes practice. I can assure you that. So if you have any question, please ask on the favor chat. And I recommend you guys should also connect if you want. I mean, that's why we have the community. So you can find a partner like where you can probably teach it. You have the class support. These guys are really good, I believe. I trust in their abilities. You also have the mentor. So feel free to just ask questions. That way you will really get yourself along and then you would not feel like alone. All right.
Thank you.
Someone said she's joining about the group. Then how did you join the Zoom meeting? Please don't share the Zoom link to anyone outside of the Discord. I beg you. Please. Please. Because this is someone saying that she's just hearing about the group. She doesn't belong to any group. I wonder how she's in the Zoom meeting. Okay, let's continue. Our session, our time is up. So we'll continue with the if. Let's do a quick throwback to if. So yesterday we did if function. I think that was clear for many of us. So just a refresher. Let me bring it over here, my day2 file. So we saw how we could use if function to check for conditions, right? So, and I think that was pretty much clear for everyone yesterday. So the next thing we want to look at is combining if function with aggregation. So that's where we have stuffs like count if. I think someone was mentioning that yesterday as well in the chat on YouTube, that he saw count ifs and is wondering, is that an advanced stuff or not? So, but what it actually means is whenever you see an aggregate function, when I say aggregate, I mean summarize, a function that summarizes, like count. You know, when you count numbers, you have like 5 numbers now and you want to count them. The answer you're going to get is just 1, right? So they are called aggregate functions. It means when you perform them, you only get 1 value. So like sum, when you sum numbers, you only get 1 value. When you count, you only get, so they are called aggregate functions. So when I say aggregate function, you know what I mean. So sometimes you don't want to perform aggregate functions on your whole data. So you want to do it based on a particular condition or criteria. So that's when you combine your aggregate function with the conditional function, which is if. So you hear things like count if, you hear things like sum if, you hear things like average if, and so on. So let's see how it works, and then we'll continue. So we'll start with sum if. So go to the next sheet in your book 3. So we already did this example yesterday when we did count. I think we did sum as well. You remember, right? So what we want to do today is, I'm not interested in like the total sales for all of these guys. I'm interested in, oh, I think there's a mistake here. Okay, there's no mistake. I'm going to remove that east, and then I'm going to change this to, okay, let me still leave it like that. Okay, so let's say I'm not interested in like everything, like all around. I'm interested in the total sales for only the East region. Do you get it now? So it means that normally if I want the total sales for all the guys, like total sales, what I'm going to do, as you all know, we did it yesterday. Who can remind me? I want to find the total sales. What am I going to do? What function am I going to use?
Close to sum.
Sum, right? So I'm going
Brackets. Some function. C2.
Yeah. I got that. Thank you. So once I do the sum, we have this value. But that's not what I want, because I'm from the East region, right? I'm the governor of the East region, and I'm interested in just the sales for East region. So what do I do? How do I do it? So that's where this type of functions come in. So it means you want to aggregate, but you're not aggregating for all. You want to aggregate for some. So it means you need to check. So what I'm going to do now is let's try to do it practically, and then we'll see how that function works. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come here to this first row. Is this in the East region? Yes. So I'm going to take it, right? Is this in the East region? Yes. I'm going to take it. Is this in the East region? Yes, I'm going to take it. Is this in the East region? Yes, I'm going to take it. Is this in the East region? No, I won't take it. Yeah, no, till the end. So it means that I'm only interested in these 4 guys. So it means that I'm going to say for East now, let me just put it here. For East now, I'm just going to say some of these guys, just these guys alone. And then I have my answer. Do you get it now? Now, when I was asking the question, what was I saying? Is it East? Yes, I mark it. When I got here, is it East? No, I marked it. Does that sound familiar? Yes. That was exactly what we did yesterday with if. So we're checking, is the score greater than 60? Yes. If not, do this. Do you get the idea? So that's how you combine them. Okay, maybe you don't understand. So let's see how that function works. So I want to sum, just as you saw here. I want to sum, but I'm not just summing, because I don't want to sum everything. I want to sum based on the condition or a criteria. So I'm going to be using sum if. So if you check the definition, it says it adds cells specified by a given condition. So let's see how that works. So be careful. We have sum if and sum ifs. For now, we are dealing with sum if, just one F. So the range, this is what I want to sum. This is what I want to sum, but the range, the first thing is asking for is the range. That's like, you can call this criteria range. Don't get it confused. It's different from sum range. Criteria range. So it means that the things that you want to consider, where are they? So these are the things I want to consider, region, right? So these are my criteria. I'm going to put a comma there. And then the next thing is asking for is my criteria, right? So that's like what I want to check for, right? So my criteria is what? East. Is that right, guys? So, yes. And then I put my comma. So the next thing it's asking for is my sum range. So sum range is like what I want to sum, what I want to add up. And what do I want to add? This guy, right? So I'm going to select all of this. Just select all of them. So what this guy will do now is he's going to check this place. He's going to check all the same thing we did. He's going to check all these guys, and then he's going to find where you have East only. And then he's going to sum up the value that correspond to East here. That's all. So once you press on enter, you will get the same answer that we got. Do you understand now? I hope it is clear. That should be simple.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's basically how you do sum if. I mean, it doesn't get easier than that. So now if I'm interested in West, for instance, all I need to do is to change this to West, and then I have a different answer. You can confirm if you try to probably sum up all the values for West. So these are West. If you sum them up, you get the same answer, as you can see. So that's how sum if work. So it means that you're not just summing everything, you are summing based on a condition or a criteria. Okay. Now, while this is correct, I mean, we are good, but the method we use is not efficient, because it means that every time I want to change the criteria, I have to come to the formula here and then change it to like south. Okay. And then when someone decides to make a mistake, maybe somehow, and then you say, there's no value for south, and you did not know that he has already made mistakes, something like that. So there's an issue. So we can actually revise this based on what we already know. So instead of manually typing this value East, who can tell me what we can do? Can anyone tell me?
You reference the cell, the east, the region where east is written there.
Good. So instead of having this value manually, so we can find a place to write these values here, and then we'll just reference them. Are you getting the idea? So what I can do is I will change this one to south. Okay. So now in my formula, I'm going to remove this guy and then replace it with the reference, which is this guy. Okay. And then I press enter. So it means that anytime I change this guy now from south to west, it will automatically update, because now it's no longer seeing south, but it's seeing west. If I change to north, the same thing is going to happen. And then you have this. Okay. So before we go further to count if, I want to show you a very important concept in Microsoft Excel that you would also find in interviews. Maybe some of us have heard it before. And let me tell you, let me give you the background before I show you how you do it. Now, let's assume that this is a report page, right? I'm the manager or I'm the salesperson. And then anytime I want to investigate the total sales for different regions, I come here and I change it from north now. Let me use west. Okay, and I have 5 here. Now, people keep making mistake. Maybe someone thinks west is west, and then they call you while you are sleeping, say, hello, there's no value for west. What's going on? And then you come. You see that, oh, it's this person that actually made mistake. It's not west, it is actually west. Right? Now they are disturbing you. You feel like, what can I do? We can restrict, we can like give them options of what to select. So I won't have to manually be typing what I want. So it will just be like, on your mobile when you're trying to select something. So you can actually do that here. And it is called data validation. Please, it's a concept that you need to know. It might be asked in interviews. What is data validation? So it's just a way of restricting or constraining the values in a cell. And there are several ways you could do that. So I'm going to show you the one that concerns us, and then you can try to work on the rest. Please pay attention. Now, let me first get all the regions that we have. Let me bring them somewhere here. So I know we have west, I know we have north, we have east, and then we have south, right? These are the list of our regions. Now, in this place, let's assume this is a place where we want people to change the selection. I'm going to come over to data tab. I think this is the first time we're coming here. And then depending on your version of Excel, I think in all previous versions, it's boldly written here, somewhere here, you will see data validation. But if you can't see, if you are using like mine, just check around these data tools. So you will find data validation here. This is my own. So just look for it wherever you have it, but it's under the data tab, and then you'll find it under data tools. So I'm going to click on this, and then you see different things, circle, invalid data, this and that. We are not dealing with this for now. So I want to do data validation. So now when I click on this, I have this dialog box. Okay. So I'm interested in just these settings for now. You can improve on this later, but let's keep it basic. So now it's saying that, what do you want to allow? So at the moment, we are allowing any value, and that's why someone can come and put south or west, and then it will still accept it. So what we want to do is we want to restrain them, that you cannot just come here and put in any value. We want to give you the list of value from our own end. So I'm going to be changing it from any value to list. You can try to experiment on others. So if you use whole number, for instance, it means that you cannot put text there. If you put decimal there, it means that you cannot put anything apart from decimal. It will not accept it. But I don't want to talk. You can try and watch some videos to understand data validation, but let's see the one that we want to do. So we have a list of values that we want to supply for this particular column, for this particular cell. And here you can see the moment I selected list, I have a new option. It's asking me for the source. So the source here is, where is the source of the lists of the items? So I can just select them here. You can see, so these are my options. These are my lists. Okay. Once I select them, I click on OK. Now you would notice that Excel automatically adds something here, which is like a drop down. Can you see it? So once I click on this drop down, you will see now that I have those options. So it means that, in fact, you cannot, if you try to double click you can see I'm trying to put rubbish. What did he say? This value does not match the validation restrictions. So if you put anything that is not supposed to be here, it will not accept it. So instead of them calling you, giving you a headache when you are sleeping, that this room, you do not even accept it. So they can only have options to select from what we have. So I can change this from west to north, and the result will automatically populate. I can change this to east, it will change. I can change this to south, it will change. Do you get the idea now? So that's data validation. Please, it's a very important concept in Microsoft Excel. Please take note of it. We'll be using it when we are doing our dashboard. Even if we don't, please, this is a question that is always asked in interviews. I can guarantee 90 out of 100 interviews, they will ask about data validation. So this is what it means. It's just a way of trying to constrain your cell or the input of data. All right, Mr. Samuel, you have a question. Let's take it. I see your hand raised up.
All right, sir. So my question is, when you were trying to set up the data validation, you chose the list you have on column E. What about can we also select, let's say, column B, like the options we have there for our data validation?
Yeah, well, we have duplicates here. So, but I don't know if it's good. Honestly, I've never tried to, because here, obviously, they are duplicates, right? So, usually, I always try to create a distinct. But you can experiment and see the results. If it's automatically...
The drop-down would bring out all the duplicates along with it. So the best approach is to create a tiny list of distinct values.
Good. Thank you for sharing that. So you had that. Because you don't want South to appear 2 times. Does it make sense? I mean, South appearing like 4 times, West appearing 4 times. So, I mean, because there's no point.
Okay, no, actually, it's not bringing up any duplicates. Just tried it now. There's no duplicates, so you could use it. Yeah, just tested it out like right now on my... Yeah.
So you guys just try it. Whether you pick it here, I honestly have not tried to pick it from here. I always first create it separately, and then
I actually tried it, and it's actually brought out the duplicates. Though the result will be the same, regardless of whether you select the first west or second or third west you see on the list. Or I tried it and it brought out the entire
list. So maybe it's different versions of Excel now. So it could be maybe previous one. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm using an MS 365, so I guess that's
I'm
why.
Also using the 365. I don't know why you're getting
but
I have no idea.
But this is best practice. This is best practice. The reason is because sometimes, in fact, I don't know if we'll be doing this kind of dashboard where we'll be doing everything ourselves. But best practice, believe me when I say best practice, even if this one works, it doesn't make sense, because this is more, because you can at any point add another data here, even if it's not here, by yourself. Let's say we are already planning on bringing up a new product, and then it's not here. No, we have not made any sales yet, but we can still add it here, right? So, but here you cannot add it because there will be no corresponding sale, this kind of thing. So trust me, this is best practice to have it separately.
So I believe in this because we have a different version of Excel. 360. So if you're using 360, you don't know what another person is using. So it might work for you, but another person using another version might end up seeing it complicated.
Yeah.
So I think this is the best practice so far.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. So let's continue.
May I say something, sir, as well?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, so here's something I often do, especially when I want to use data validations. I try to create like a new sheet, and then in the new sheet I put the values that are needed and that the values that I would be working with the using as a data validation for because, and then I hide the sheets. Yeah, since it's not a sheet that like everybody else needs to see, I just like hide the sheet and all that. So yeah, one could also try that as well.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you would do, because if this is it's just because this is an example, right? So you don't want this to be seen, right? Why is it here? If you leave this here, it means that they can even come here and tamper with it. And once they tamper with it, it's going to modify everything that you have here. You can see. So you don't want to keep this open, right? So you want to really like hide it. But again, this is an example. So it's not really like a main project. So if it's like a main project, I would definitely tell you to hide this somewhere. I mean, you need to hide it. So because the point of doing this is to ensure that they don't tamper with it. So if you now leave this open, then you are not solving the problem, right? So that's it. So let's continue because of time. Other things, at least up to this point, are not difficult. It's just still the same concept of if. Okay, so now it's count, not sum. Okay, so let's say I want to count the number of products that we have from East only. So then I'm using count if. So I'll leave you to try that yourself. It's very easy. So count if, choose what you want, try to do the data validation also by yourself, change it and see that everything is changing. But of course, you might not really see a huge difference, but because I think they are equal numbers. So West is 4 here, South is 4, everything is 4. So it might not really be obvious when you are doing it here, but then just try to experiment and see for yourself. So that is sum if, that is count if. You can also do average if. Okay, remember we did average yesterday where we calculated the average sales for everything. So you can be interested in just average for East only. So the same method applies. So you can do just average if. Okay, so you can see here. So it means that your range is this, as you already know, and then your criteria is the region that you want, and then your average range. You know, there it was some range. So here is average range. So it means what is the range that you want to average. So here, this is what I'm going to select. So once I do that, you see that I have 143. In order to validate that, I can check the average of just these values for East, and I will get the same thing. So it's just, just try it. So play around, count if, play around average if, okay? Play around even the sum that we did, try to experiment, do the data validation. Please, it's important. Please, that data validation is very, very important, please. So that's that. So the next thing is, now it's still the same thing, but it's more like English. So we did sum if, now it is sum ifs. Is someone getting what's going on? So when we did sum if, or count if, or average if, we checked for one criteria, right? So when you are doing some ifs, plural, you are checking for more than one criteria. That's all. So it means that here now, here we only check for East, or West, or South. So but here, I want to check for eggs in East, or bread in East. Do you get the idea now? Or cake in East. So you have two criteria. So let's see how you can do that. So using this example that we have here, I think now we are already getting advanced. Everyone's already getting advanced. So I won't be doing too easy stuff anymore. So I'll be using this reference directly. You should know by now. So I want to check the total sales that we made in eggs and in product, in eggs and in East. So I'm going to do some ifs. Now, it's not only one criteria I want to check, multiple criteria. So it's some ifs. Okay. Now be careful, because the order of the argument has changed. Initially, we used to have criteria the range come first, the criteria range, and then range. But now the sum range is coming first. So be careful, so that you will be aware of not make the mistake. Do you understand what I'm saying? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes,
so
sir.
So sum range is the one coming first. So it means that what we want to sum, which is this guy. So that was what we actually selected last earlier. So but now is the first. Just know. So now you can see saying criteria range 1. You can see it has added 1 to it because it is expecting more than one criteria. So criteria range 1. So this is the criteria range 1, this place. Okay, comma, criteria 1. So in that range that you selected now, which is the criteria range 1, what is the criteria? Eggs, right? So you can either type eggs or just choose one. I think this one is better, right? And then comma, now criteria range 2. Are you getting me? So if you actually stop here, you will still get, it will just be as though you are only calculating for eggs. It will actually work. It's not that you cannot, it has to be 2 criteria or more than 1 criteria. It will actually work, but it doesn't, if you want to do 1 criteria, use some. If you want to do more than 1, then do some ifs. Not like you'll be using some ifs for just 1 criteria. It will work, but it doesn't really go. So that's why you see criteria range 2 in square bracket. I already told you what this square bracket means by now. Optional, right? So you know that if we don't add it, nothing will happen. So criteria range 2 is this guy. Okay. By now you already know how forming from top to down. You should know these shortcuts by now. So criteria 2, that's what it's asking for now. The criteria 2 is east, right? So because here we want to check for east, and that's all. And I click on my enter. So once I click on enter, I see that with the total sales for EX and East is what? 184, which is because that's the only place we have X and East, right? So we don't have any other place that is X and East again. So this is the only place that we have. So let me just play with it a little. Let me change this one also to X. So you will see that it's going to add 184 and 154 together, and that will give us 3. Oh, my math is getting bad. 3 what again? 357, right? Is it 57?
337.
337.
Once I click on enter, you can see we have 337 because now it's seeing X East in 2 places. Again, you can do that same changing here. So if I change this one now to fish, I expect what? Fish East 122. Okay, now you can do that validation here again, data validation here to check all the products. You can do data validation here to check all the. Is it clear? I believe it's clear, right? Yes. Hands up. Okay, before I answer those questions, let me show you one more thing that I think is important you need to know about this, about doing this. Now, you know here, when I wanted to write out all these values, I actually wrote them out. West, north, east, south. It is because they are not much, they are just 4. Let's assume you have like 100 of them. Are you going to be typing them out? No. You know, I mean, your answer is no. So let me show you what, because this is something you'll be doing all the time. Trust me. That's why I'm showing you all these things. So in a case where you have a lot of things, let's say egg, fish, a lot of things like maybe up to 50 different options, you cannot type it out. So how can we get the distinct value? That's just one value for each of them. So that's what I want to show you now. Again, please watch, it's very important. So what I'm going to do is this is how I do it personally all the time when I'm working on Excel. You are going to select everything, all these options. I'm going to copy it, Control C, and then I can paste here. Let's assume this is where I want to have those values. I will paste them here. Everybody watch. Okay. Now, once I've pasted them, you can see the same thing that we have here is what we have here. So I will go over to my data tab again. I will go to data tab, and then on top of that data validation, you will see something called remove duplicates. You can see it, right? You can see this X, something like that. Check it on your end. Yes. Remove duplicate. So once I click on it, I will have this dialog box. And then it's saying that colon E, yeah, it is in colon E. So just click on OK. So what this will do is it will tell you that 12 duplicate values found and removed, 4 unique values remain. So you can see now that we have those. This is how you will be doing it all the time. And at least that me, I know that I've been doing for years now. Maybe there's a better way now, I don't know, where you can find out. So this is important. You need it because when you have a lot of options, you don't want to be typing them out one by one. So you can just use this now for your data validation list. And it's not only for data validation. Sometimes you just need one representation. You just need the distinct value for your options. This is how you do it. So the same thing, let me do it one more time for this East region now, for this region. So you see, again, I select everything, Control Shift down, you know that by now, copy it, paste it here. Okay, Control V, come to my data, you will see remove duplicates. Now, the issue is because I have them side by side. So that's why it's bringing this additional option that, do you want to consider this one as duplicate? So I would say no, I just want this current selection, okay? I don't want you to, because what it's going to do is that if I do it now, it's going to check both of them together. So eggs east, it will be looking for fish east. So if you don't, let me scatter it again. So just choose continue with the current selection. The only reason why we have this is because we have something on the side. So continue with current selection, remove duplicate. Now we are back to what you initially had, and then you click on OK. And then you can see that it will return just the 4 values that are there. So this is how I do it, and I recommend you can also do this. So you can use this now for your data validation here. You can also use this for your data validation. Okay, so let me take the questions now. I hope that is clear. Yeah, let's start with Mr. Abdulrazak. Let's take a question. Mr. Abdulrazak, your hand is up.
Okay, well done, Mr. Idris. You're doing well. And I like the humility. My question is, looking at counts, when we did counts would count only the number of time, numbers actually appear. Then when we did count if you notice, the formula is referring to the regions. So how come the counts now counted, east, west, and everything, rather than counting just numbers?
That's a very interesting question.
Thank you.
That's a smart question. Okay, so I believe because if going by what you said now, you are expecting us to have counter if, right? Is that not what you're saying? Like,
It's supposed to be counter if for those regions.
okay, so I don't know why, but I guess because you are dealing with a criteria. So the criteria can be a number, the criteria can be it can even be a blank. It can be anything. So I guess that's why you can just use count, because there's no counter if you check. You only have count if. So, and I believe it's logical because since you'll be selecting what you want to look for, so you just want to count it. So the exam needs to just find it there and tell you how many places you can find it. So in that context, it's not really about what it needs to count. Now it's about what you want it to count, which is like the criteria. So I hope that means, but I love that reasoning. I mean, yeah, I've never thought of it that way before, but
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. So it's just count if. You don't have anything like counter
Thank you
if.
so much.
Nice question.
Thank you so much. I like the fact that you're taking questions and you're making us feel as if we know something. Thank you.
No, we are all learning. I learned some things yesterday and Monday as well. So I mean, everyone is here to learn. So it's not really like, yeah, that's how it goes. Thank you for that. All right, I saw another hand up earlier. Okay. If there's no, okay, yeah, Io, please go ahead.
All right. Thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone. Yeah. So while you were writing the argument for the sum if, I noticed you used the F3. So I was going to ask why you added the F3. So that's just my question.
F3? Is it when I was removing the
under the total sales? For the value of the total sales, yes, you added like an F3.
Yeah, F3 is the criteria. This one, fish. Do you understand? Hello, sir.
Yeah, I do. Yes, I do. Like a reference, more like the reference.
Yeah, it's a reference. Yeah, instead of typing fish, like, you know.
All right.
Thank you. All right, I'm seeing more hands, and I want us to take a break quickly before we finish, because I want us to finish all these functions so that next week we'll just start new stuff. If not, I will have to tell you to go and research on them. But please, let's be fast with our question. Okay, Ikechukwu, let's take your question.
Yes, sir. My question is just how do you for the data validation, how do we hide those the data we are validating? How do we hide it?
Good question. Thank you. So this is how you can hide. So this column now, let's assume after validating this, I can actually select it. I don't know if there's a shortcut for it. Our shortcut people in the house, maybe you can find for us. But I know that you can just right click on any column or even a row, and then you will see an option hide here. So once you click on hide, you can see that it is gone. So nobody will see it. So if you want to unhide again, I think there's a shortcut to unhide, but honestly, I don't know those things now. So you have to like click here again and unhide, and then you see it. Okay, so that's how you can hide. I hope that answers.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, sorry. I observed something. When you hide that column E, column A, B, C, D, and F.
Which one?
Column E.
Sorry.
E.
We can't change it. We can't hear you.
Okay, maybe I should just drop it into the chat box.
Okay, yeah, it's better now. Please go ahead.
Okay, when you tried hiding the column E, I observed we had columns reading A, B, C, D, then we switched up to F.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be queried?
No, it will be queried. That's how you know that something is hidden there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how you know something is hidden there. Yeah. Okay. So instead another way, if I mean, okay, let's not. You could actually lock this cell, but I will not be showing you that. So you could do it such that even if you want these values to be there, nobody can touch it. Nothing can be done to it. That's also another way. So it will be locked. So you can find out how to lock cells in Excel. That's a way to lock. Okay, someone showed us the shortcut for hiding, Control-0. So you can try that out yourself as well. Okay, let's take 5 minutes break. I would answer questions during that because I think we need to make use of the last 30 minutes very, very well. So let's take our 5 minutes break, but I will take questions in that 5 minutes. So if you want, please try to practice some of the things or just get some coffee or something, whatever. But we'll be back in 5 minutes, okay? But I will be here to take questions. So Mr. Stanley, let me take your question. Mr. Stanley? Mr. Stanley, please, your question.
Okay. Good evening. Good evening, Mr. Idris. Hello? Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much for what you've been doing so far. I really appreciate you. This validation now is a suggestion. Can we make it dynamic in the sense that if in the future now, like we had fish, we had cake, we had bread. If maybe in future want to add something like meat, can we just make it dynamic to make it like let it be in the validation?
That's interesting question. I feel like it should be possible because
yes, it's possible. Yes, it's possible.
Yeah, but I don't know. Honestly, I've not. I mean, I would say I've not done anything like that before. Having to update my list. Most likely, I would just add something to the list and then update my data validation.
Okay.
So, but
okay.
Yeah, I guess they should be that you can update. Maybe
yes, we can actually convert it to a table. When you convert it to a table, like from there you can.
If that's also a smart way. Yeah, if that's the case, that's a smart way. Because I don't want to talk about tables. I don't know if I will have time to talk about tables next week, hopefully.
Okay.
Because I need to let people know that there are actually easier ways of referencing and all of that. So yeah, with table for sure, because that's one of the advantages of table. It automatically updates data. So I believe with tables you'll be able, yeah, because the range will shift by itself automatically. So that's a good one. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. So Mr. I don't know, it's Mr. or Miss Shionfumi, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, when an information is hidden,
yes,
and you as a data analyst, you got information. Now, how can we open that information? Is there any way we can open it? Easy way.
You ask the person that sent you the data to open it. You ask them because locking in there probably might have been a reason. Maybe it's, for instance, you are working in the supply chain department and that particular data is like for HR, something like that, and you decided to hide it. So you don't need it. So
and would that affect the total accumulation of the information there?
If you need the data, then you would request it to be unhidden for you. Like if they locked it, actually.
Okay.
Data control.
If they locked it, you would of course ask them to give. But if it's not what you need and it is hidden, then you don't have any, you leave it like that. It will not affect anything. So far, you don't need it.
Right.
You understand?
Thank you.
Yeah, I love these questions people are asking because it's really taking us ahead, and I really love it so much. All right, let me see who we have again. Ioho. Yeah, please go ahead, Ioho. We have one more.
I was going to make a response to the first question that was asked in regards to the adding of meat, additional whatever, before you mentioned the whole table process. But I think if we also select the whole range of a particular column, and later on we add values into it, automatically it should update into our data as long as it has been validated. The whole column range is validated. So whenever we add anything, regardless, it should also come up without creating it.
That's another smart way. That's another smart way. I love that. I love that. So I hope you understand, Mr. Stanley. So it's saying that we just need to select the whole column, like from top, like C, or the whole row, depending on where you put your list. So anytime you add something, it should automatically pick it up. I recommend that you try these things because, I told you I've not done them before, but the way the ideas you are saying it, I'm feeling like it's making sense. So please ensure to try it out. That's the way to also validate these things. All right. Just one more person now. One more person. Mr. Raymond. Mr. Raymond. Please go ahead.
Yes. Thank you so much, Idris. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you so much for the presentation. My question is on the sum if.
Okay.
Yeah. When we did the data validation, we created a list, and on the regions, on the drop down, we only calculated East in the total cells of our sum if formula. And when you go to the drop down and you check for other regions, the total in the next column does not change. I don't know if you talked about it.
What you can see on my screen now, right?
For example, if I check for West, I thought that our total would change the total cells.
It's changing. Is it not changing on your end?
Mine doesn't.
Then you need to review the formula. You need to ensure that you are using the sum if and you are making the right selection. Okay, it should change. It should change. Okay.
All right.
You can just, no worries, just probably at the end, you would, of course, the link is always available after the class. So you can just fast forward to that side and confirm what you have here. I don't know. I would have loved to share my workbook with you guys, but I want you to practice, to do it yourself. That's why I don't like to share this, the one I already worked on. Sorry about that. But if you still have any doubts or questions, please use your Discord to ask, okay? And you will get the answers. There's a mistake somewhere, I'm sure of that. All right, so let's continue, guys, because we have 30 more minutes. And we need to round up everything we have. If we can't finish it, I will leave you to some resources. I don't know, I will try to find some because these are actually very, very important. I've said that a lot of things are important. Trust me, this one seems to be like even the most important. There is no interview you will go for in Excel that they will not ask you about VLookup. I mean, who would not ask you? So please, you need to pay attention on VLookup and these other guys. Very important. So in Excel, there's a popular function. It's actually lookup, but I think Microsoft placed that lookup. So we have VLookup, and VLookup stands for vertical lookup. So we will be doing only VLookup. Go and check out HLookup, which is horizontal lookup, and then check out XLookup. So this is more like both. You can use it for any of them. So please check it out. We will not be able to explain fully. If I have time, I can probably make a separate video to explain this concept, but I'm not promising. That's if I have time. So, but please check them out to understand. But we'll do VLookup now, and I'm sure that you would understand it if we look at it together. So I'm using this example that you're already familiar with, this data that you're already familiar with, so that you don't have to start cramming any data. But although I added a couple of records to it. So what is VLookup? So let me go to my presentation quickly. Please let's meet ourselves. I hear some noise. So if you go to our presentation, it said VLookup looks for a value in a column and can return that value or a value from the corresponding column using the same row number. I know that sounds like a lot, but don't worry, we are going to explain. So this is it. Let me come to my whiteboard. Probably create a new whiteboard. And then let's say we have like a table like this. Okay. Let's say we just have two columns. Now, I have different values here. So let's call it X, Y, Z. And then we have like maybe 10, we have like 20, and then we have like 30. Okay. So what VLookup basically does is you can tell it that I have a value here, which is X, let's assume this is price. Okay. And let's assume this is alpha. Let's just call it alpha, any name. Yeah. So I have an alpha that is S, and I want you to find the price for me. Okay, that's just the whole idea. Because lookup means that I'm looking up something somewhere. I'm looking for something somewhere. Something is lost. Lost but found. Careless owner. We know how we used to say those things. So, but what VLookup does is it only does it vertically. So it means this is what I'm looking for here in this column. I'm looking, this is what I'm looking for, the price. This is the reference. This is how I will know the value that corresponds to what I'm looking for. So you can see that both of them are vertical. So that's where the whole idea of vertical comes in. If you check for HLOOKUP, it is the other way around. So it's horizontal, but I will leave you to go and find out yourself. Just understand this one. So it means that when I supply this value of X and I tell it that I'm looking for its price, that function is able to fetch this value for me. That's just it. That's all. Okay. So let's see how it works in real life. So like based on this data now, I have all their salary. Again, don't forget this is annual salary. So let me put, so there's something, I want to put a title here, like something like to, you know, like, I mean like annual salary. I want to show you something here. So you see that it's not really making sense because it's only on this cell. I can do a merge. Okay. So if you come to home, I've already highlighted everything now. You will see merge and center. So once I click on merge and center, you can see that Excel merges all the 4 cells together. So it's like one big cell now. This whole thing is like one cell. Okay, so now I can probably bold it and then it's going to look like you get what I'm saying, like a proper table. So let me call this place a name. Okay, so now what we want to do is I want to find, let me start very simple. I want to find the salary of Ken. Hello.
Really?
Hello. Who is making noise?
Oh, okay.
I want to find the salary of Ken in 2019. That's what I want to do. So it means that please check this table for me and look for Ken. Look for the salary of Ken. So it means that first thing is going to look for Ken, and then it's going to look for a salary in 2019. Are you getting it? Because we have a lot of options here. You could look for Ken's salary in 2020, so but specifically in 2019. So let's see how we can do that with VLookup. That's what VLookup is used for. Lookup. So I'm going to write VLookup. Okay. Now you can see it's asking for different things. So let's take them one by one. So the first one is lookup value. Oops. What is the value I want to look up? Give me right now.
10.
What is the value of Ken? I'm looking for Ken, right?
Yes.
Ken. So don't let me select Ken here. Let me select it here. Ken. Now, what is the array? So I know I've never talked of array before. I've only talked of range. But for now, just to make you understand it, consider array as like a range also. Like for now, just layman language. So my table array is this whole table. So I can select the whole table from here, like this. That's my table array. Okay. So you can see that they were having issues with this formula here. So I want to be using this place to write my formula, this top, so that you can see it better, because this one is now misbehaving. Or let me show you another way, because now it's like getting too long. We can bring it this way. Or you can also use Shift Enter. Oops, not Shift Enter. I think it's Alt Enter to come to the next line. So this also makes your Alt Enter, don't forget, to make your formula look neater. Okay. So now this is the table array that we've selected. Now it's asking for colon index number. You might be wondering, how am I able to read all these things? It's practice. I already know what they're asking for. I mean, but if you don't know, you can also just Google. If you go to Google now, for instance, and you check these functions, like VLookup now, just check it. You will see under Microsoft documentation themselves, you will see they will explain all these things. They are all here, even with examples. With examples, although sometimes they can complicate it, but if we check online, there are a lot of resources that can help you understand some of these things, what those things mean. Okay, so please, again, internet is your friend, don't forget. So colon index number. So what this is saying is that in this table array, don't forget VLookup deals with vertical, right? I told you V vertical. So he's looking for a vertical reference. If you do this in VLookup, it will be a row index number. It means it's looking for a row which is horizontal. When you look for it, when you go and make your research on H, you will find, you understand what I'm talking about. So here is looking for a colon index number. So it means that among all of these things that you have here, which column do you want to reference? Do you know that I explained from the beginning of this class that how do you identify a cell? A cell is an intersection of your row and your column. Is that not? So here you have already identified the row, which is Ken. So he's looking for, because he's looking for something. So in order to know where he's looking for that thing, he needs a column reference and a row reference. So you have given it a row reference, which is your lookup value. So all you need now is to provide a column reference, and then it's going to match them together. Because of a truth, how do you know the salary for Ken in 2019? Is it not an intersection of 2019 and Ken? Yeah. So the colon index number, let's come. Now we have selected our array. So let's count the columns. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The one we are looking for is 2019. What is the number of 2019 class? 2, right? Do you agree?
Yes.
2. Now, comma. Now the last one we have, you can see it's optional. So there are 2 options here. You either have exact, which is true, or false. You either have true, which is approximate, or exact, which is false. So for now, in fact, most times what you want to do is exact. So because you need the exact value, you don't, because if you use approximate, if he finds Kenny, he can take Kenny instead of Ken. That's how it works, but I don't want to talk about that now. So, I mean, we might not even talk about it, but more often than not, 98% of the time, you want to do exact match, which is false. So I'm just going to type it, false. Can you see? And then you close it. I think the default is also false. So even if you did not put it, it's going to be false. All right? And then you click on enter. So once you do that, you will see that the value he got is what? 5,005. Are you getting the idea, class? Do you understand it?
Yes, sir.
So we can do for Kate also. Okay, so I want to get the value for Kate. So can someone tell me the formula? Just tell me and I will type it. If you are bold enough, just tell me the formula, I'll write it. So I want to okay, let me wait. Let's find Kate for 2020. So anyone, let's go.
Equals to VLookup.
Equals to VLookup.
Brackets G4, sorry, G4.
G4. That's the lookup value, right? What we are looking for.
Yes. Then A2.
This page, right?
Yes, A2 colon E8.
Okay, good. All right. What's the next thing?
Then that would be
colon index number now.
Yeah, then 2, and comma
colon index number
2.
That's 3.
I'm looking for Kate in
looking at
2020. Okay, that'll be 3. That'll be 3. Then comma false. Then close the bracket.
I don't like to close it. It will do it itself. I don't like to close. So yeah, we have to be 4. So that's exactly how VLookups work. It doesn't go, it does it. I mean, that's just it. So what you can just do is now to make some, what change can we make to this? Yeah, I think that's basically it. VLookup, this is how VLookup works, basically. That's all about VLookup. So for basic stuff, maybe there are some advanced stuff later, like I said, the approximate, if it's true and all of that. But to keep it simple, this is how it is. So sometimes in fact, in business cases, most times it's usually like from different sheets. So it means that maybe you have a result of students somewhere, and then you have another sheet, and then you want to check the score of, you are an English teacher, for instance, just English. And then there is a sheet that contains all the records of students and their courses that they took. So you're, of course, only interested in English, right, of students. So instead of bringing the whole data, you can just use VLookup to look for their result, their English result. So all you need to do is find, maybe this is the assignment I'm going to do, maybe this is your project, I don't know. But now listen. So all you need to do is to find the column where we have English, right? And then look it up and then look for those names and then you get the answer. All right. So that's that. So let's quickly take, we have 15 more minutes. I need to finish these two guys now. So VLookup is a concept that you already know now. We now have index and match. So both of them, we have index separately, we have match separately. Okay, you know what? I don't want to rush. We will do this next week. We will start with it next. I don't want to rush. I don't want to rush anything. I feel like it's already a lot today. So let's talk. So that VLookup, we'll take it again in case you don't understand. So it means that I will not have VLookup in your, no, I will have VLookup in your project, but I will still revise it next week. So then we'll continue index match and then we'll go to chat. So I think let's stop here. It's a lot already today. So let's stop.
So I have a question.
Hello. Yeah, hello, sir.
So if for instance, you want, as you said, the example you gave on the English teacher, for instance.
No, let's not talk on that example. Let's talk on what we've done, please.
No, it's not the VLookup. It's not the VLookup. It's not the VLookup actually. So you said if you want to find just what the English teacher just did, for instance, they just discussed for that particular term or test. Could you use sort and filter first? Could you sort and filter it out before doing any other thing?
Sort and filter is manual work. Everything we have here is formula. Formula is doing everything, fetching it for you and all of that. So why do you want to use manual approach?
Okay.
You understand what we're saying?
Yeah.
So that's the idea.
But
Everything
we have a like data. How we use manual approach to look for it?
If you have, what do you say, Mr.
I said it doesn't work that way. That's the essence of this formula, to help us to navigate easily, to search for a particular criteria that we are looking for, or a particular file or information or data or figure. That is the essence of all this short formula.
If you do it that way,
it's even faster comparing when you have a thousands of data you are to access. This VLookup is very fast. It's going to fetch it more than filtering.
Yes.
Sorry, sir. Yeah.
Something even faster than VLookup, and that's index match. So I'm just keeping you curious till next week. So that
Sorry, Mr. Idris.
Yes.
Yeah, so I saw that when doing the VLookup formula, you typed the false, you typed false entirely, and I was like I went I I feel rather than type it fully, we can also do the 0 and 1. Yeah, so I don't know if
I don't think you typed it fully. I think you just selected it. The options come up.
Okay.
No, he actually used
He
0.
typed it, but you can use 0 too.
It doesn't matter. You can use your own formula if you want. It doesn't matter.
No. I'm not saying you should use it. I'm just saying that it's a suggestion you get. So it's anything we could use. Yeah, either way.
Yeah, I actually wanted to use 0 because I know it's 0, but you can't see 0 there. So if I'm saying
select it to show you false.
People will be confused. So that's why I changed it to false. So
Yeah.
If I'm doing it, I can.
Sorry, Mr. Idris. Instead of we doing this VLookup, and why don't we just go straight to XLookup? Because I feel that this VLookup is kind of outdated to me.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
Yeah, I think it's necessary to learn it. There's VLookup, there's X, there's HLookup. I think it's necessary to just learn the rudiments, moving into the more advanced ones. And yeah, basically, it's
don't
okay.
use VLookup and HLookup anymore.
Oh no, they do. I applied for an interview recently, a data analysis interview, and in one of the tests, like VLookup, this is not in Nigerian firm. VLookup was asked we asked to use VLookup to look up a value in 3 worksheets away. So yeah, just like what the example that Mr. Idris was giving before. So it is not an extinct function in Excel. In fact, it's one of the most commonly sought after functions in Excel. So I think it's something we must all learn. So XLookup is just coming up and all that.
Everything at the base is important because at interviews, they want to know if you know those things that you think are obsolete. They are not obsolete. They're going to ask you questions before you move into more advanced stuff. You'll be shocked because in your mind, you think you know the most advanced formula currently being used, but trust me.
True.
I
Yeah,
believe,
well said.
I believe we have
Well said, well said,
beginners
well said.
in our midst. So let us take it gradually.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you are going to advance, but some people, they have not even mastered beginners level, let alone advance. So I believe we should take it one after the other.
Yeah, exactly. So this is it. Since I will not be like taking everything, so I would add. I mean, I can add VLookup and XLookup to my presentation for next week. So, but it will mean that we might have to spend the whole class again on that. And I really want us to because we are left with 2 classes. If we take Monday for this index, VLookup, and all these things, then we have just 2 classes left for chart and visual. And I know that we need to really work a lot on when we start doing our dashboard. So again, it's about once you know the basic stuff. So if you understand VLookup, you would easily understand HLookup, you easily understand XLookup. So let's keep it that simple and go on that pace. It's very well. Maybe for a long time ago, I was asked that question. Maybe the difference between XLookup and HLookup, and I was even confused at the time. I remember so well. But then I talked about VLookup very well, and then the XLookup was just sounding. This is a long time ago. So, but just know the basic ones, like this VLookup, you would not. You will still ask, even though they don't really like use it anymore. XLookup, but XLookup is still like an extract from VLookup. So it's like a combined VLookup and HLookup together to form that XLookup. So you still need to know the underlying components. So yeah, it's still important we do all of these things. Okay, so read up the remaining ones. That's what we'll do so that we don't waste much time. Because we still have a lot to do. We need to complete a dashboard in this class on our own. And I think I'm targeting Wednesday for that. So by then we've already mastered every other thing. So I will just be doing it. I'll be doing it. You just be watching, I'll be doing it. And then I will not take any question because everything I'll be doing will be application of everything that we have learned. There will be, even if there's anything new, I will let you know. So that's why I want us to really master the important things. All right, so I'm seeing some comments. While I was doing that, someone said I should name the table array. Yeah, that's also a good tip. We talked about naming an array yesterday. Do you remember? So instead of having to select this array all the time, if you'll be doing this lookup at all times, so you can just name it. I hope you remember how to name an array using the name. I hope you remember. If you don't remember, go and watch it all. So you can, instead of this thing all the time, so you can name this array now, this table, and then you will be calling it here, and then it also works. That's a good suggestion. Thank you. He said, how about sharing YouTube resources on the lookup function? I recommend checking it here. Yeah. Like I said, I will be checking, I will be sending resources like Alex, the analyst. Lela also is also another person that I encourage. Please make your research. Just these things are just to give you the basic stuff. You still need to learn a lot of things. Trust me, you need to learn a lot. I told you this from the beginning. These are just basic stuff. Okay, can we have access to your presentation sheet afterwards? Presentation. That's the slide. No, I don't share it. Sorry. You don't need it now. What do you need it for? So VLookup has limitation, but XLookup is advanced lookup with index match. HLookup is horizontal lookup. VLookup is vertical lookup. VLookup work with columns, while HLookup work with rows. Okay, so this person is helping us to. Okay, this person said Alex the best. Yeah, Alex the analyst. So it's one of the channels I'm going to recommend when we are done, so that you guys can look up his content. He's really a great guy. So yeah, that's that. What else? Can we have the recorded session? Yeah, session will be available on YouTube. The link is already recording on this. We are live on YouTube, so you can find everything there. Because what I'm at the end of the whole camp, or when I have the time, I will try to edit. Like this time we are talking about some things, or when we go on break, I'll try to take them out. But that's a lot of work. I hope I have the time. If not, you just have to probably manage what we have on YouTube. Okay, any other question? Show for me your hands up. Let's take a question. We have like 6 more minutes. Show for me your question, please. Show for me, are you there? Show for me. Okay.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, I think I appreciate everything you did. You did a good job. Actually, well, like I'm Mateo, I think I'm coping. Well, I think I like what happened to us. Like I'm using 2021 version of this as well. So I think when I go to the data, I think I'm lost there. I can't, when you say click on data and go to the something like that, all this data and do some analysis, I can't even. I don't know how can we get the practice.
The practice.
Yeah.
That's what I'm working on, right? My work.
No, yeah, I know. No, I mean how can we that we can have access to the data? When you say click on data, I can't judge that I'm lost a little bit there. We can't. My system cannot have access to that, so I can't practice what you did.
It can't have access.
Talking about data validation.
Okay, data validation.
Yeah, you don't have data validation.
Yeah, it's not showing. It's not coming up on my system.
No. Are you using Microsoft Excel?
Yeah, 2021 version, 2020. I think 2021 version.
It's there. It will be on that data. It's there. Probably is what you can do is if you know the version that you're using, go to Google and search and say, I'm looking for this. You'll find it. But it's there.
Okay.
You go on that data too. So you might just need to check them one by one, but it's there. It has been there since ages, I believe. So, but if you still have any doubt, what group are you on Discord?
Fifth.
Fifth. So please put your questions there if you still have any doubt.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Just share screen with you and check it together. Maybe
thank you. Thank you.
But try to use Google.
You can also use the search button at the top of the screen.
The what?
You can use the search button. If you look at the top of the Excel workspace, there's a search button there.
Yeah, this search button. Can you see, Mr. Shionfumi, at the top? So maybe yours might not be at the top. It can be at the right because of your version. But I mean, you will see a search button.
Okay, yeah. And also, I'll be having issue with this. Whenever we are typing the formula we show, that icon that the formula we show, I'm not getting it on my essay.
Which one?
As in, whenever you are typing the formula, as in the formula bar.
Your formula bar is hidden. Need to unhide it.
Okay, this guy, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I can actually hide my own. So probably
like in my place, it's not showing whenever I'm working.
Try to look for something like this. Maybe this is what you have.
Okay.
And then try to hide it. You will see an arrow down or up. If you can't find it, just go again online. Just say how to show formula bar Excel and read it. Yeah. Okay. Sorry about.
Or you could send a screenshot of your screen on to the Discord group, and then we can help you with that.
Yeah. Okay. And also that whenever I screenshot on my laptop, I can't find the image to share the image. As in, I've tried to use Word, Shift, and S, Control S. So whenever I highlighted the and what I screenshot, but normally when you screenshot something, you're supposed to have it like image as a file. So I've been looking for it. I can't even find it.
Can we talk about it in the Discord? Your class supports are there. They will just assist you. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. So that we can take more questions because we don't have enough time. I think I saw an hand raised up earlier. Is there another person that have any question?
I was the one, but I already typed it. I wanted to say that the major limitation for VLookup is that it only looks to the right. It can't look to the left.
Yeah. But I mean, I don't want to mention those things so as not to confuse people. But yeah, there are limitations. That's why I talked about like index match being the guy that actually solved the issue with the VLookup even before LearnCamp came on board. But yeah, we'll probably see some of those things later. So let's end the class because we just have 1 more minute. Again, on Saturday, we'll meet between 9 a.m. Central European Time and 9:30 or thereabouts. So I will use 30 minutes to just discuss the problem with you. I will send the document, the data, the questions, everything will be sent in the resources. Once we are done with that meeting, we would have 2 hours to do them. So the link also where you will submit will be there. So once you finish, you submit. After 2 hours, the link is closed, and that's all. So we'll meet on Monday. Again, if you have any question at any time, just ask on your chat. If you have, questions about everything that we've done so far this week, please feel free. You guys to also interact, like your classmates. So if you can also form reading group together if you want, if it makes sense to you. It's really highly recommended. Nobody's keeping anybody away, just to get better. For the newbies, please feel free. This place is a home. Everyone of us here are learning. Okay, so don't feel like you are not part of us. Everyone is learning. No one is an expert, including myself. So I hope with that we will then see on Saturday morning. Thank you so much for today, and I hope you have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Thank you, bye.
Boss.
Thank you.